Alright, so we're working on the Roadmaster, and you know, it needs a carburetor tune-up and lots of other things, but we're working on signal lights. So, let me show you what I got so far. What I started with. So, this is what I started with. Now, some of y'all may cringe at this if you're a Buick purist for these cars, but these signal lights were missing. These signal lights are, actually these aren't even signal lights, they're a park light. So you can find them sometimes, and there is ways to upgrade them. There's traffic coming in and making it hard for me to video right now. So the best way, you know, I did find you could get like ones that are upgraded to work as a park and a signal light for like 300 bucks. I'm not a big fan of the little torpedo style anyways. So what we have here is a 1960, 50 something through 60 something, but it's 1960, we'll call it, Volkswagen park light or signal light. So because the Volkswagen had the park light in here, which these did too actually. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. So it was a single contact bulb. Let me show you here if I can. Well, so you got one wire, single contact bulb. So this did not come with a bulb, and it came with this little housing made like this. Now, this does not have holes to line up with this. I don't want to drill a big hole in this, and also I want to change it from the single contact to a double contact. So I've been working on it some, and basically I've decided to make it an entirely new mounting plate. So I start with, I took one of these with the thing off, made a template that fits down in the rubber, covers up the holes here, well, the rubber wheel anyway. So then transferred that to aluminum, cut it out with a plasma cutter and cleaned it up nice. Now it's flat, so it sits here and rocks. So what we want to do is round it slightly. This is thick enough aluminum to hold its shape, but it's easy to work with. I was going to do sheet metal, but I had a piece of aluminum laying there left over from doing the 210 tail lights, so I thought that would be good. Trying to get this nose down just a little bit because that's kind of where, I don't know if you can even see that amount of curvature, but oh yeah, just like that. So what we got to do is figure out where I need to drill for those bolts, plus what I'm going to end up with. I'm not going to be using, well, I will be using a bolt towards the front, but it may not be exactly where that one is. But I will be using this one because it lines up with the top one, and I still use that bracket. I modified it. I could show you all that one, and then I'll show you how we got there. Alright, so what I was trying to show you all here is, so I showed y'all the stock one, the way I got it. So this one is the one I've been working on. So let me take it off here and show you what I've done so far, and then I'll show you exactly how we got there with the other one, I guess. So these were eBay pieces that, you know, they are I don't know what this mailman is doing. He's done came by here like 3 times now. Anyway, like I say, they're set up for a just a single bulb for a signal. So let's set that there and hope it don't fall off. So let's take the other one off just for comparison's sake to show you what's going on with it. I think these were $40, $45. Now they're clear. I think they would have been yellow originally. I'm not really sure on that. The clear part is kind of a aftermarket type thing. These had a, not exactly clear, but it was a white lens. So, alright. Now, and on that note, I've got some paint. I'm going to fog the inside of these to make it like a frosted lens. And the reason for that is so that you don't see the LED bulb that I'm going to use. So what I got going on here, so this is what we started with. You have this little plate that doesn't even cover the whole bottom of the thing. You got your reflector, which I don't think is going to be necessary with this, and your two mounting screws. So what I've done is I took the reflector off, took this and turned it around backwards so that the bulb can sit further in there, and you still have your mounting screw for the top. And I had to bend this a little bit to make it get the right angle, which this doesn't exactly have the right angle as it came. Of course, these are like, you know, cheap generic type parts, so so you have to get this completely out of there. I did reuse the stud. I've got all the washers on this one just for spacers right now. So what I do intend to do here, I guess I should have showed you the socket. The socket, I ordered those. They're aftermarket too. They came in slightly off. They had the two contacts, but you're supposed to have one's higher than the other, so I had to Dremel this out till the bulb fit. But that's just because I bought cheap generic parts, I guess. So anyways, what you end up with is this part and this one. Another thing I had to do is sand this plastic so that it has a little curve to it, because they're very flat. So you end up with this part goes up in here. So this is what, oh, I'm glad that was the piece I don't need. So as I was saying, with the clear lens, you can see that yellow of the LED bulb in there. So that's why I'm going to fog these lenses on the inside with that. I'll show you that too. It's a frosted glass paint. So, and then that'll give it just that kind of frosted where you can't see through it so easily. Now I'm hoping I don't have a problem with it trying to melt my lens, but this bulb is plastic, so I would think it shouldn't get that hot. The park light shouldn't be that hot, and the other one only flashes temporarily. So anyway, let me see. I need to, oh, that's wonderful. I just stood up and forgot about the screws being in my lap, and okay, I see them both. Oh, that was another thing I got to show y'all real quick that I had to modify. So when I done the modification for the bulb and everything, the screw was too long and it hit the socket. So I cut the bulb, I cut this screw down till it doesn't bottom out now. Okay, let me get the other socket thing. Well, actually, what I need to do right now is go find me a Sharpie and figure out exactly where this needs to sit. Okay, so I sort of did a little bit off camera. So I took my rubber piece, fitted it on this, drilled my center hole. So now, we'll take our center hole that we got drilled, drop that screw in there to hold it centered, and we're not exactly fully centered on the back there, but the rubber will cover that. So now, where did I put my little red Sharpie down? Dang it! gotta find my Sharpie. I wrote something there. And yeah, that still didn't help. Alright, so now that I've got this centered, we're going to take and reach underneath and I'll get down here where I can see and draw all these holes and then determine what I'm going to drill where. Okay. Now I gotta get up out of the floor. Okay. Alright, so what we ended up with is we have our big hole here. There's a small hole here, small hole back here. So I'm gonna drill these in here to match that. So I only had to drill one small hole in the fender. So that way, if anybody ever wants to put the stock light back on, it'll go back on. Nobody will ever see that. But in the meantime, these lights will fit here. So now I'll drill the holes for that, and then I'll need a bigger bit to drill that out, and that'll be where my wires run through. Okay, so after lots of fitment and fiddling and working on this, we now have the studs from the original plate in here. Our wires will run down through here. Woo! Okay, these will scare the crap out of me. Alright, now, so what we need is 1, 2 washers, 2 nuts. Go underneath and see if we can secure that. This is kind of a test fitment, so we're still in the process of making everything work the way we want it to. I think we're looking pretty good. Now, I don't have a wrench, just my fingers, and I don't have a bolt in the front yet, but I may have to put one. I do have the hole for it. It's just that I'm having a little bit of issue with the rubber fitting on the front right, so currently I may not want to pull that down. Alright. Like that. Now we take our screw and run him in there like that. Well, somehow this is not all fitting together the way I would like for it to. Okay. Not perfect, but this is just going to sit on top of that. That's just all there is to that. I may have to, when I get the final fitment, I may have to actually silicone this front a little bit or something. But that's got our park light, signal light actually mounted. Now, let me get something set up and I'll be right back. Alright, So I have a temporary hot wire just for testing here. Now I've already tested these, but I kind of want to see how they're going to work as far as the ground goes and stuff. So okay, that is the signal light side. So there's your signal light. This one, oh no, wait. That one might be the signal side. So yeah, that's the park light. And that's the signal light. Okay. Now, as I was saying, see, I don't like the fact that you can see through this and see the bulb. So now that I'm good and blind, we'll see if we can paint it. But before we do, I'm going to mark this because I had to take the sander and trim the sides of that plastic down. Unfortunately, I tried to trim the chrome and that was a mistake. Now my chrome's trying to peel. So I'm trying to be careful not to make it peel any more than it already is, but can't trim the chrome. Only the plastic. So yeah, let's see if I can show you. So yeah, this one is untrimmed and it's kind of flat and almost curves up. So this one's trimmed. I may even need to take a little bit more off of that front. You'd think the Volkswagen thing would be rounded more, but they seem to be very flat. They probably don't fit exact on them either, I'd say. I don't know. But we'll work with it until we get it right, I guess. We have to, won't we? Okay. More trimming and piddling, and when I get ready to paint these, I'll show you all that. So this is what I have, and that's what it's supposed to do. I bought this for a set of lamps I want to restore, but haven't got around to that, and I've got it. So we're going to frost these, and we're going to do it on the inside. Okay, not quite getting the effect I want, but may take a couple of coats. Set this one over here out of the way. Now I have already cleaned these. Although there's a little speck of plastic in that one. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's definitely going to take a couple coats to get the desired effect. It seems a little weird to take a clear lens and try to make it foggy, but trying to make it look a little more like the original, which was white. Okay, so that's 2 coats. We're going to kind of test it and see if that's going to be enough. Let's just set this up here too, so it doesn't glue everywhere. Let's see if that. Now see, you don't see the thing so much. Yeah, I think that's better. By golly, they ought to see we're turning now. So that's our park light. Let's see. I'm gonna hold them together there and see if that looks consistent. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. And that looks a lot more like the original light. I know I said I was kind of not trying to be exactly like the original, but not trying to be too modern either. So I think that'll work. I'm going to set this off and let these dry really good. And Then later we'll get into getting this part all that way all sorted out. What all I had to do to get to this point. I kind of explained most of it, but I'll show y'all exactly what it takes to get the get from this to that. So the other one I took the socket out, but that won't, which I can use that socket, that won't even be necessary. But I need to remove these two studs, and I need to remove this reflector, and then we just take this little bracket, turn it around, and reuse the other stud in the back. I mean, it's not really too complicated. It just took a little bit of tinkering with it to figure it out. I've actually been working on it for several days here and there. So maybe I'll work on it on another day when there's not as much traffic. Okay, not quite sure where I left off, but we do have this one is basically finished. But now we got to make the other one match. So we're going to take this one back off and back apart so that I can use it for a template for it to drill the holes of the other one. I never did tighten it down anyway. I may find another screw to go in the front. Okay, let's see here. Now to take this assembly off, duplicate that on the other one. That's what I'll show y'all here in a minute, is how I got that to that point. Guess I'm kind of going at this backwards, but oh, I didn't think about that. I already put the thing in here. Can I get that back out, or do I have to Basically, we want to get the marks for the holes is what I'm after. I got to find the other plate. So since we've got this one already figured out, we'll just line this one up here and mark our holes where it needs to go. On this one. Now this back hole, we will use our rubber to mark it. So that's a little lopsided actually. Well, and it just needs to be right there. Okay. So we can drill those. Now I have the other plate ready, and then I got to do the this part, and we'll have to go in there with the vise and some other different tools inside to do that. So, of course, drilling this is no big deal. You just need a drill and a block of wood is what I used. Okay, so now we are going to show you how to get from this to this. So pretty much we just got to disassemble this. So we want both of our studs. Now I do want to note these have a little peak on them. So you see me beating on them here. That protects them from getting the threads bashed. Well, mostly. It's kind of a good idea to have the nuts on there, but let's see, let's loosen that up just a tad. Okay, there's one. Now this one we'll have to let out here to where we can do like so. Oh, that one came right out. Nice. Alright. Now, what I did on the other one was took that stud out of this. Let me go ahead and take this reflector off. It will be facing the wrong direction. And will not allow it to fit. So it's got like one little pinch weld. Don't remember exactly how I got the other one off, but it's not getting reused, so obviously I'm not being gentle with it. I did get the other one off more intact, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's see if we can twist it. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, now, one thing I was just looking at, where I took the stud off of this one makes this loose. If I could do this to where this piece would go under the bottom instead of up on top. Oh, okay. That sets the bulb too far forward. That's why we had to do it that way. Okay, so yeah, because at first I was like, oh, I'll just put it in there, but that puts it too far forward. That's why we had to do it this particular way and turn this around backwards. I remember now. Alright, so it's going to have to... Now, the thing of it is this one didn't just come out like that. I think I had to take a grinder, a little... I'm actually wearing safety glasses for once. And the grinding wheel is not holding up well. I'll have to try something else. Okay, so, whoops, get y'all a bit. Miniature cutoff wheel here. Oh yeah, that's doing the trick. Alright, hopefully that does it. The other one I had a hard time getting it out because the Dremel, I was using a little grinding disc or a little grinding stone. Well, turned loose on one side, not the other. Come on now. Why are you being so stubborn? There we go. Maybe. No. Like I can wiggle it around, but it's still kind of caught. Come on now. It's not actually. Let's see. It'll rotate in there, so it's not actually. There we go. So we'll have to work on that just a little bit more. Now we have to straighten that back out. But we're going to take and clean this up a little bit first. Oh, just trimmed my fingernail. Okay. Now, we need to flatten that back out. So now, what we need is our other socket here. Now this one, we have a conventional bulb in, but we have our LED here. Now, I'm going to take a second to tell you all about that. So as you can see, the LED is slightly smaller, and I'm hoping will not generate enough heat to melt my plastic lens. This is plastic, so I would think that it shouldn't generate enough heat to melt the plastic lens, or it'd melt that plastic right there. So the glass bulb does get extremely hot and could cause problems if it's too close to the lens. That's why the original, the bulb was, you know, sunk down in here. But it was only a single contact bulb, and I didn't want to have to drill this big a hole in the fender. Because if anybody ever wants to put this back original, I want it to be easily converted back. So we don't need this in there just yet, but what we need is this here folded around like I did on the other one. Now I didn't fold it down super tight, but so with this we can just get it with our pliers and bend him around here like so. Now we need to put our stud in, and whichever one of these. Okay, we're actually going to have to drill this out a little bit because it does not fit directly through there. So I forgot about that. All right, let me get a drill and a drill bit. Something like that. It might be a little too much. Now I gotta. Okay, this one's about the same. It actually probably needed a little more adjustment. We can take and adjust that a little more as we're putting it together. Now, all we need for this one is our bulb, and we have a complete assembly. Alright, let's see. Now these, you have your studs lower on one side than the other, and I had to modify this to make it, because they weren't made right. That's what I get for buying cheap aftermarket sockets, I guess. Not compressing down far enough. Okay, this seems kind of stupid, but let's see, that is a plastic bulb, not glass. Ah, there we go. Now, okay, so that's got that in place, and that's got our wires pulled back here. Now, we can flatten that out. And when we bolt everything up, should be good to go. And our wires will go over here and down. Now we're running them to each side. I don't know whether that makes any difference or not, but that's just how I ended up doing it, because it seemed too bulky to run them both down one side. So now we've got this part done. All we got to do is drill the other plate, and they'll both be ready to bolt on. Well, the big hole's just to run our wires through. The other three are mounting holes. So now I'm going to take it in there to the belt sander and deburr all of this. And then I guess we'll be ready for final assembly. Aside from the fact that I don't have my wires to do the wiring yet. But that's going to be a whole nother project. So anyway, take care of this. Okay, so I took and drove the other little stud in the vise in there. I got a little crooked, but there we go. So now this goes here, and your other stud goes there and there. So we have the one hole that new hole we drill, but then we have the others are all pre-existing holes. So this one hole is the only mod that I'm actually doing to the fender of the car. And like I said, that would cover up if you put the factory park light back on. So all this is going to be is assembly. I will show you all that one more time. But when I sanded, I went ahead and sanded this down enough to make it kind of bright. That'll help with the reflectivity of it. Now I need to show y'all one more thing before we do assembly. Well, I can't find the other rubber right now. All I was going to show you is the bottom of this has a cup comes down. and I had to, you can see there where it used to be, I had to take my razor blade and cut that off so it sits flat. That was the only thing I was going to show you guys. In the interest of I'm running out of daylight, as usual, I'm going to, let's see, this one I'm going to use on the other side. But I'm going to reassemble this. I'm not sure, I may have already showed y'all this part, but we're going to show you final assembly here. One good time. So we got to put the metal piece into the rubber. Work that around there all the way around. Like so. I'm going to stick that down in there like so. That one's lined up good. Now, one of our assemblies here. Down in here. And now, once I've got this bolted down, I can adjust this if I need be. Now we're going to take, this is probably the one I was already using. Wires are a little mangled up. Alright, put these down through here. This down through here. And there's wires we want to go. Like so. Now, we have our nuts and washers up here on the fender. And, let's see, do one at a time here. I'll start with the back one. Since it's a little more stable, and will help to hold it in place. Now, I'm probably actually going to have to take these back off when I go to wiring them, so I may just put this one on for now. I gotta find that other rubber before I put the other one on anyways. And then get me some wire over here where I can run the wires, connect the wires. I'll get me some, that's what I need to get, some heat shrink connectors so that it will be, try to get that off of the wires a little bit, that it will be weatherproof where it's up in this fender well. Alright, so there's that. And then of course our lens. Get it in there like so. And then our chrome piece goes in. Just like so. The one thing I already mentioned this, on the other one I'll have to cut the screw down. So, are we lined up? It needs to, yeah, there we go. So, I don't know if anybody will find this useful, or some people may find it stupid because I'm putting the wrong light on it, but, you know. If you happen to acquire a 37 Buick that doesn't have the park lights and you don't want to spend $300 for park and turn signals, this is a $40 alternative that does take some, you know, tinkering to make it work. But one thing I will tell you is do not sand the metal piece. I did that on this and now I've got some chrome flaking off. You can sand this because That still leaves that sticking down a little in the front and the back. It tapers up in the front is why I ended up having to do that. So at that, this doesn't fit real well in here, which is why I may not put that front bolt in. May silicone it a little bit or something, but anyway. Once I tighten the studs down with a wrench, that'll help some too. And I like it. Of course, I've showed y'all, I think, already, but we'll make sure that we're still working here. Let's see. Oh, there's some wires under there, but okay, that's your park light. And that is the signal. They can't see you turning, they don't need to be driving. Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but and I'll have another video on it. I'll show y'all the LED headlights. They are currently not wired up yet, but they are another eBay piece. I think they were about 50 bucks. I do have the original headlights. We'll be keeping them with the car. These will go with the 12 volt system because the originals are 6. The only difference really is the fact of these lenses are very flat. Let me grab one of the other ones real quick and I'll show you. Whereas these lenses were very rounded, more so than a regular headlight. Now I had thought about trying to fit these with the LEDs, but I figure if I did that, this lens is designed for a little tiny 6 volt bulb and would probably scatter that LED light, making it like a floodlight. So we're going to stick with the lens that came with it. This is glass. So other than people that actually know that it's supposed to be that rounded, you know, not a big deal. And it can be changed back out. So that's something I'm trying to make, you know, anything that I'm altering can be undone. But yeah, that'll be for another video and may even be on the orange car first. I'm not sure. If it has the wires to the, I think I got to rewire it too, so whichever one. You will see a headlight video on exactly what it takes to make those fit. Just not today. So, that being said, I guess that's it for now. Later.